I'm going to introduce you to two types of households, and I want you to tell me in the comments which one you relate to most. Household number one, you return from school. Your mom is in the process of cooking a beautiful pot roast. You walk in. She asks you how your day was. You ask her how her day was. Your father joins you. Again, you have a pleasant exchange. You sit at the table. But suddenly, a fight breaks out. But it's not mostly a fight, more of a discussion, an intense discussion of opinions. And in the end, you either come to the conclusion that you agree that you disagree, or you compromise. After this disagreement, your mom and you start picking up the dishes. And again, you're having a pleasant conversation, and she's asking you, how are your friends? How are you doing? You're saying your problems. She's there to support you. She's soothing you. She's kind of being a mother. Household number two, you return from school. Your mom is in the process of cooking a beautiful pot roast. I don't know what is it with the pot roast today. You walk in. The first thing she says, did you bring the potatoes I asked you? You freeze. And you apologize and you say, no, I forgot. Suddenly, she goes into this huge spiel that you never do what she asked for, and that she does all these things for you and reminds you of all the stuff that she has fulfilled for you, that she's sacrificed for you, and that you're ruining dinner. Then your father walks in and doesn't really want to contribute. So you're sitting at the table, and just like the previous household, a fight breaks out. But this time, it is actually a fight. And it is one person trying to dominate the other person's with their opinions. And when you voice your own opinion, your mom turns around and says, you know what, you don't understand. You're just a child. You may feel this way, but I, compared to you, feel even worse. And here comes the beautiful part. After this thing is all over, and no one has apologized, no one has admitted that, for example, how they expressed themselves was harsh, because we are all harsh at some point. As your mom and you are picking up the dishes, instead of asking about your day and trying to soothe you with that motherly figure, that motherly love, she continues the conversation, she continues the argument, and even brings your father in. And start saying things such as, your father never supports me, you always agree with your father. And then this is where it gets really messed up. She'll start projecting stuff that's not really your fault, and is not, when it is her fault, but she won't admit it. So it'll be like, well, my parents did this to me too, and it's so unfair, and now your father's doing the same thing, and we haven't had sex for how many years, and even though I do everything for him, he's still unfaithful. And you're like, whoa, mom, TMI, like, I do not need to know this. Now, if any of this resonates with you, if any of you, not the entire thing, obviously, but if any of these things happen in your household, chances are that you have a codependent mother. And I want to use this video to explain, what does a codependent mother look like? Because it differs from mothers to mothers, from people to people. But also, I want to soothe your guilt that you may be feeling, that you may have felt at some point, that it is okay not to miss your mother. It is okay, if you haven't seen your mother in a while, to feel that you don't want to see her. You don't need to see her. You kind of regret seeing her again. And that does not make you a terrible person. And I will explain later, further into the video. So, first of all, my name is Olympia. I have a degree in cognitive neuroscience. And what I like to do, like I say in all my videos, I like to dissect that pretty little brain of yours and see what makes you tick, but also what makes you talk. So make sure to smash that subscribe button, ring that bell so you guys get notified when I make new videos every Thursday. And yeah, give me a huge thumbs up to make Mama Algorithm love me. So, codependent mothers. Let's start. Quick overview. Codependency is I view it as an addiction. But instead of being addicted to a substance, you're addicted to a person. Your needs, your wants are so intertwined with those person's needs and wants in such an unhealthy way that you can't really tell the difference. So I'm going to use the first households as examples. One thing that codependent mothers do is that they have a victim mentality. What does that mean? That means that they will never take responsibility for their own actions. They will either blame their parents for doing it, or they will blame someone else. They will never admit they're in the wrong. So the first thing that happened in that household is that you forgot to do something that your mother asked you. And this is where codependency comes in. Because she believes that because you forgot something, that she is the one that's going to be injured. She is the one that screwed up. So for example, just because you forgot the potatoes, the whole dinner was ruined. I see that's another thing about codependent mothers. They love to overreact. Now, whether this is because they've suppressed their emotions and their feelings due to their parents, or because they're codependent people, they have these outbursts where basically you're like, wow, where the heck is this coming from? They will, if you call them out on something that has hurt you, they will cry, they will scream, they will slam doors. And this is my question for you guys today. Has your mother ever responded to a situation in a way that literally you turned around and thought, isn't that supposed to be my reaction? Am I not the kid here? Isn't this reaction that my mother is having one that is more suitable for a child? Let me know in the comments below. And if you feel comfortable enough on my little corner here on the internet, share your story. Share how your mother decided to overreact and make you feel that suddenly you were the adult of the situation. The other thing that codependent mothers do is that they're enmeshed. So basically they have this unhealthy reliance on you, and they will open up to you about stuff that children should not know. So they will talk about previous relationships, boyfriends, sex, when was the last time they had sex. And that is one of the things of codependency. They don't know how to set boundaries. And as a child, and even as an adult, I've emphasized this in my videos of signs of emotionally abusive parents. It is very hard for them to put the relationship they have with their partner, with your father, with your other mother, separate from your relationship, because they feel that you must feel like they feel. This can be very tricky because if you're brought up by a codependent mother, you can either project that onto your children and you can be the overreacting one because you shut down. If you have a mom that's going nuts over the smallest things and you feel like you're walking on eggshells, it is very likely that your brain will shut down emotionally to cope with that. You can't have two people having a meltdown. It's usually one person has a meltdown and the other one's a logical one, and they're trying to kind of work it out. So if your codependent mom is always having these meltdowns and always acting as if she's a toddler, as you grow up, in order to keep your sanity, you become emotionally dead. And then this is really hard on your future relationships because you kind of never learn how to feel your emotions. It's sad. It is sad. But the fact that you are here, the fact that you are watching my video, I am so proud of you, because that means that you are not only understanding and trying to understand your mother, you're also trying to understand where you come from and not repeat her mistakes. Because it is very likely that her mother also repeated those mistakes, and you'll attract a partner that also has codependent or narcissistic traits, because we all love to go back to that little homey place, no matter how toxic it was. We may not want to go physically back to there, but we feel familiar. Like I've said in my other videos on emotional manipulation, codependency involves control. Codependent mothers feel that they don't have to control the situation, but they must control the situation because they don't know anything else. And in order to control the situation, they will employ various tactics. Like I explained before, the guilt trip. So telling you things such as, I've asked you for so many things and you've ignored me. They will nitpick and remind you of all the moments that you've forgotten to do something. And then they will project that and turn it to you and remind you of all the things that they have done for you, adding a little extra guilt on that little cake of guiltness that you've created. Saying that, I put a roof over your head, I put clothes on your back, I feed you. In cultures where families are very intertwined, such as the Greek culture, there's a thing that when I see it, it used to infuriate me, but right now it just makes me laugh. It's when a mother finds that a valid argument, a valid way to defend her point is saying that I clothed you or I gave you food. Now, I want you to listen really carefully if your mother has ever done this, and make sure you don't do this. This is going to sound harsh truth time. The fact that your parents decide to fornicate and then suddenly you popped out is not your fault. It was their choice. And the fact that she put clothes and feeds you and puts a roof over your head, that is not a valid argument. And if she didn't do that, you'd be thrown into foster care and she'd be facing prison because of child neglect. So that is not an argument. So the next thing I want to address is something that I said in the beginning of this video, that it's okay not to miss your parents. It's okay not to miss your mother. The thing is, guys, we have associated, due to movies, books, society, whatever, that mothers create a safe haven for us. A little snuggly cocoon that we can go to and hide when shit hits the fan. Now, if your household is like the second one, it makes sense that you don't want to go back to that. And because you don't want to go back to that, you don't miss your mom. You don't want to go back home. You don't have a feeling that you have a home. Society has ingrained in us that we have to miss our parents. We hear it from others around us, how whether their parents are dead, which makes you even feel more guilty, or if they're still alive and you just live far away or you haven't seen them for months. You hear others around you saying, oh my God, I miss my mother so much. I miss her cooking. I miss my home. I miss my room. And when you say that you're going to go back home, they will turn around and be like, oh, you must be so happy. You must have missed your parents so much. Now, I think some of you need to hear this. Do not feel guilty and do not feel pressured that you don't have that feeling. It's okay not to miss your mother. Just because you didn't have that safe haven, you didn't have that healthy household to go back to, how could that make you a bad person? How could you feel guilty about something that was so toxic for you and still remains toxic? This is the next message that I really want you guys to think about. Healing your parents, healing your mother is not intertwined to healing yourself. If you think that if your mother heals, you will heal, that's codependency. The thing that you can do is talk to your mother. And you may have tried previously, but the beautiful thing about this is that mothers are literally neurologically wired to love you. There is a hormone, it's called oxytocin. You may have heard about it. It's called the love hormone. That hormone is developed in your mom before you even come into this world. It is the hormone that actually creates contractions and sometimes is even given by doctors to mothers about to give birth to increase their contractions, and then also the hormone that's responsible for producing milk. So literally, this hormone is forcing you out into the world. And because they have this hormone, they are wired to love you. So even if your mom doesn't agree, even if she gets angry, even if she does the silent treatment, passive aggressive, whatever her tactics are, you need to know deep inside that you've tried your best. It is your problem, your journey. You have tried to make your mom, to see her fault, to make her a better person, but that's her journey. And if she doesn't want to embark on it, that's not on you. Now make sure to check out my other videos on emotional manipulation and how to overcome codependency. If you like what I said, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. Make Mama Algorithm love me by giving me a huge thumbs up, ringing that bell so you guys get notified when I make new videos every Thursday. And that's it, folks.